These were beautiful, with high bangs, big hair, spandex, neon colors, and great music belting out from boomboxes. Welcome to Days Gone By, where we take a nostalgic trip to the forgotten music of the 80s. Christopher Cross was a brilliant guitarist, singer, and songwriter. He released All Right in January 1983 as the lead single from his album Another Page. Following his Grammy-winning debut and hits like Sailing and Arthur's Theme, it debuted at number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the fifth highest debuting single of the 1980s. This catchy pop-rock song became popular when CBS Sports used it in the 1983 Men's Basketball Championship game. It reached number 12 in the US, 51 in the UK, and 13 in Italy and Canada, as well as number 44 in New Zealand, 5 in Switzerland and Norway, 4 in Sweden, 16 in the Netherlands, and 14 in Ireland. The song's easy and catchy tune made you want to get down and boogie. Crazy for You by Madonna was for the movie Vision Quest 1985. Directed by Harold Becker, Vision Quest features a Spokane high school wrestler who falls for an older woman renting a room in his father's house. Released on March 2, 1985 through Geffen Records, this pop ballad focuses on sexual attraction and desire. It received rave reviews upon release with special praise for Madonna's vocals. Madonna was known for her dance pop style, so it was a pleasant surprise to hear her sing a heartfelt ballad. It earned her first Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance and became her second #1 hit in the US Billboard Hot 100. It also topped the charts in Australia and Canada, reaching number 2 in Ireland, New Zealand, and the UK. There was no official music video, only a montage combining scenes from Vision Quest and Madonna's performances. The song also has been covered by artists such as Groove Armada and Kelly Clarkson, and featured in shows and movies like Full House and 13 Going on 30, 2004. The American boy band New Kids on the Block had every teenager in a chokehold, but it wasn't always that way. Hangin' Tough was their second studio album, released in 1988, and regarded as their big break. In this song, they shifted from bubblegum pop to urban contemporary, blending it with popular rock. Their debut album in 1986 was a commercial flop, and their label intended to end their contract, nearly causing a breakup. However, the band's producer, Maurice Starr, convinced the label to allow a second album. The rest is history. Their music got radio airplay, and they released music videos for each single. Their popularity grew through promotional tours and TV appearances. Starr wrote Hangin' Tough inspired by the band's rough start. The group eventually broke up in 1994 and reunited in 2008. Do you remember jammin' to Push It Real Good by Salt N Peppa? It was Salt N Peppa's first hit and remains one of their most famous songs. Contrary to popular belief, the group insists it's about dancing, not sex. Written by Herbie Lovebug, the song was initially excluded from their debut album Hot, Cool, and Vicious. After being recorded in their producer's bathroom, it was added at the last minute as the B-side to the single Tramp in 1987. This hip-hop, pop, and rap hit was a favorite, earning a Grammy nomination. Its success helped the reissued Hot and Cool Vicious achieve platinum status in the US, selling over 1 million copies, making Salt N Peppa the first female rap duo to go gold or platinum. The album eventually sold 1.3 million copies worldwide. Though this song has slipped through the cracks, it remains one of the best rap songs of the 1980s and beyond. Let's return to the spring of 1984, a time of big hair and tight pants. During this period, two artists from different continents released the same song just weeks apart. Rare, but not unheard of. The song, Self Control, was a popular post-disco hit by Laura Branigan. It soared to the top 10 worldwide and hit number 1 in 9 countries, mostly in Western Europe. However, it did not top the charts in Italy, where Italian singer-songwriter Raf, one of its co-writers, released his version shortly after Brannigan. Raf's version had a new wave-inspired Eurodisco 2/4 beat. His vocals embodied the tension of nightlife's allure and danger, sounding frightened yet unable to resist. In contrast, Brannigan's arrangement was slower and more assured. The subdued synthesizers and electric guitar lick added a special effect, while her husky alto made the song undeniably more seductive. Its somewhat infamous music video was edited to tone down provocative elements. Masks, writhing leotards, and dimly lit streets created a sense of fear and excitement. All Through the Night is by Jules Shear from his 1983 album Watchdog. It was covered by The Cars and later included by Cyndi Lauper on her debut album, She's So Unusual. Lauper's version reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming her 4th top 5 single. An acoustic version appeared on her 2005 album The Body Acoustic, featuring Shaggy. Shear originally saw the song as a folk piece, but realized Lauper's electronic take was more commercially viable and allowed him to afford his New York apartment. Lauper was more famous for Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, True Colors, and Time After Time. So, All Through the Night sometimes falls through the cracks, but it's an awesome track well worth remembering. Urgent by rock band Foreigner was the first single from their 1981 album. From the rhythmic punch of the guitars and keyboard to the soulful sax solo, this song was an absolute banger. It seamlessly blended rock and soul, and Lou Graham's 3.5 octave range gave it a golden quality. Urgent debuted on the US pop charts on July 4, 1981, reaching number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and maintaining that position throughout September. It also topped the Billboard Rock Tracks chart for 4 weeks. It was Foreigner's second best-selling single after I Want to Know What Love Is. It reached number 1 in Canada and 20 in Sweden. Over time, it was overshadowed by their more famous songs, but it's still a timeless classic that deserves more play. Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen was the first single from his 1984 album, Born in the USA. It became his biggest hit, propelling the album to become the best-selling of his career. The song's punchy upbeat vibe invites you to dance and groove. He wrote it overnight after his producer said the album needed a hit single. Though hesitant, Springsteen penned the song in one night, channeling his isolation following the success of The River and his struggle to write a hit. Recorded in 6 takes at the Hit Factory on February 14, 1984. And after 58 mixes, it was finalized on March 8th and released on May 9, 1984, becoming the highest-selling single in the US that year. Waiting for a Star to Fall was released in 1988 by the American pop duo Boy Meets Girl. Shannon Rubicam and George Merrill wrote it after seeing a falling star during a Whitney Houston concert. Initially, they offered it to Houston, but Clive Davis at Arista Records declined. Belinda Carlisle recorded a demo but chose not to include it in her 1987 album Heaven on Earth. So, Rubicam and Merrill decided to record and release it themselves. Its music video, directed by Claudia Castle, shows them singing on a beach and inside a house, intercut with children playing with bubbles, including their daughter, Hillary. Many might not remember this classic, but it's definitely worth revisiting. The Winner Takes It All by Swedish pop group ABBA was the first single from their 7th studio album, Super Trooper, in 1980. This ballad explores the end of a relationship, with one partner clinging to what was while the other moves on. It's a heartbreaking portrayal of loss and was featured in Mamma Mia, alongside other ABBA songs. It hit number 1 in several countries, including the UK, where it became ABBA's 8th chart topper. It was also their last top 10 hit in the US, originally titled The Story of My Life, With a more upbeat rhythm, it evolved into this soulful ballad. Though we may not hear it often, it remains a timeless gem from the 1980s. The 80s rock scene was brimming with leather jackets, studded clothing, bandanas, long mullets, and ripped t-shirts. Guns N' Roses embodied this iconic look with leather, long hair, and dramatic makeup. Paradise City is a beloved classic rock anthem and one of the band's most iconic songs. Developed while traveling from San Francisco back to Los Angeles, it became the fourth single off Appetite for Destruction 1987. Released in January 1989, it reached the top 10 worldwide and remains a staple closing number at their concerts. It's also the only track on the album to feature a synthesizer. Hungry Like a Wolf appeared on Duran Duran's second album, inspired by the story of Little Red Riding Hood with a modern twist. It was a breakout hit for the band. It topped the charts in Canada and climbed to number 3 in the US. After 4 previous top 40 entries, it reached number 5 in the UK. It remains a favorite among die-hard rock fans, though many of us might have forgotten how amazing this track truly is. Africa by the rock band Toto was the 10th track on their 4th studio album, Toto 4, 1982. Its accompanying music video, released in 1983, shows Toto performing in a library alongside visuals that evoke African culture. The song isn't about personal romance, it conveys a man's deep love for the African continent. Songwriter David Paich was moved by a documentary about Africa's struggles, leaving a lasting impression on him. The lyric, "I bless the rains down in Africa," was shaped by his childhood experiences at Catholic school, where many teachers had done missionary work in Africa. Initially, Toto did not expect Africa to be a big hit, but when Sony saw it gaining traction in New York dance clubs, they released it as a single. It was a hit for quite some time before eventually slipping away, overtaken by other popular tracks. Physical by British-Australian singer Olivia Newton-John was released in 1981 as the lead single from her 11th studio album. It became an instant success, selling 2 million copies in the US and going platinum. The song spent 10 consecutive weeks at the number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, tying the record for the most consecutive weeks at the top. Physical transformed Newton-John's clean-cut image into something more sexy and assertive, further highlighted by hits like Make a Move on Me, Twist of Fate, and Soul Kiss. Its catchy, danceable vibe contributed greatly to its allure. Head Over Heels was a progressive pop track by Tears for Fears from their 1985 album Songs from the Big Chair. The lyrics explore the rush of falling in love, balancing excitement with vulnerability and confusion. It's still a banger, though fewer people remember it today. Holding Out for a Hero is by Welsh singer Bonnie Tyler from the 1984 film Footloose, also featured on her 1986 album Secret Dreams and Forbidden Fire. The music video was quite the spectacle, Tyler escaping a burning house near the Grand Canyon, with choirs dressed in white and villainous cowboys in black. A heroic cowboy in white arrives on horseback, chasing the villains away and standing in front of Tyler as the song fades. Bonnie Tyler's powerful voice delivered an ultimate pop anthem. Though it may have slipped our minds, it's definitely a gem worth revisiting. It took the Scorpions nearly 2 decades to achieve wide success, but once they did, they soared. Though they gained traction in the early 80s, international fame came with their 1984 album Love at First Sting. That album included the wildly popular Rock You Like a Hurricane. When you think of the Scorpions, this is likely the song that comes to mind, an iconic part of the 80s metal scene. Its sultry lyrics, dynamic vocals, and powerful guitar riffs capture a primal desire. Rock You Like a Hurricane is the perfect rock anthem of sexuality and attitude. The 80s were a time to remember, and even if some of these songs have slipped out of our minds, they remain timeless classics that stand the test of time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and comment so YouTube recommends it to others.